Wasn't really impressed with that trailer, to be honest. We'll follow it though, see if it's any good. Same as it did Moonlighter. That was that store game, right? Gillelly. Oh, the Blizzard mechanic. I like it. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. It was okay. Huh. Yeah, I mean, we'll follow it. That one was pretty interesting. We'll see how it goes. Cool. Any opinions on the Dark and Darker studio rated by police? I think like that whole situation is really strange, and I think that we need to get all the information out first, because there's a few situations where if it turns out that it's accurate, it's not a big deal. There's a few situations if they turn out that it's accurate is a big deal. So for those that don't know what's going on, basically a big company called Nexon had this project called P3, and P3 was essentially Dark and Darker. It looked the same, it looked very similar, it played similar. Apparently it was very similar. And then Nexon canceled that project. They canceled it. So some of the devs left because they obviously wanted to make the game, and they didn't help form. They started working with the devs that made Dark and Darker. Dark and Darker has since become wildly popular. So Nexon is now going after them, going, an ex-employee from our company basically took a canceled project and started developing it on their own, and this is where it gets murky. This is where it gets murky. Because Nexon is claiming, from what we understand, that there are stolen assets, that there are actual things that have been taken from them. But the Dark and Darker devs are saying, no, we made everything from the ground up. There's nothing to worry about. And we're totally fine in this. So that's the situation. If it turns out that the Dark and Darker devs just basically took a canceled project and made it on their own, then I think they're fine. I think that's okay. And I mean, it's not like if Nexon hadn't canceled the project, I think it'd be a different discussion. But they did. They canceled the project. It's gone. It was gone. So at that point, it's like, I don't really know. But if it does turn out that the guy from Nexon brought his project files and brought his assets and then dumped them into Dark and Darker, that obviously is a problem. So that's the thing. And we don't know which one it is. We don't know. It's very he said, she said right now. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. So I think the police raid was based on Nexon claiming that they actually stole electronic physical things. I think that's the situation. I also think, correct me if I'm wrong here, I'm pretty sure somebody in chat said this yesterday. I have not followed it up myself, but somebody in chat said that the police raid didn't find anything. So I'm not sure there. I don't know if they like officially announced that or something, but Soma says correct. It didn't find anything. Yeah. Which lends even more credence to the Dark and Darker devs being accurate in what they said. So it's a weird situation, but at the end of the day, it's a big company trying to get their hand into a big pot of money. That's what it is. That's where we are. Again, they would be somewhat justified if the devs actually took their assets, but it's not looking like that's the case. Huh. It's kind of an interesting belt. Wait, what's the sword? Oh, just a clear. We'll see. It's definitely something I'm following closely, as I'm a huge fan of Dark and Darker. But nothing yet has made me really worried. So, yeah, and I'll let you know if that changes. Health regen shard. Nice. A bearded axe. Not really. Are you planning on playing the Diablo 4 open beta? I am. absolutely am. I want to see if that game's good. I want to see if that game is good. So we're going to be playing it as soon as we can. Can Axis have beards? Yes. Jay says it's kind of like Bethesda stealing your intro for Starfield. I know. It's they took my intro and made an entire game out of it. And what's even crazier is I only made that intro last year, and they've been working on Starfield for like 5 years. So they somehow took my idea and went back in time. They've got a time machine's involved. This is crazy. All right, anyway. Big companies, man. Those big companies and their resources. You know what? We little guys, we just make do. That's all we can do, right? Typical Bethesda. One hand. They deserve an arrow to the knee. Agreed. A spiteful, infernal husk of tenacity. That's so weird that my college nickname made it into this game. Very weird. 72 armor. Ooh. I don't know, man. I like that armor. Yeah, it's like an entire actual piece of armor. This guy would be very dizzy. Yes. The amount of spinning and winning is off the charts. This guy can't stop spinning or winning. The green belt set in your inventory has 200 plus armor. Oh, wow. It's got like 300 armor. Oh my god. Where can I see the total armor it adds? Where's my total armor? Here. 823. Wait, what? My current armor is 291, and if I put this belt on, it goes to 823. Is that because of the 30% increase armor? Oh my god. Well, I guess I'm using this belt. Is it set bonus? No, I don't have any set for that thing, I don't think. Math is hard. Math is very hard. Cohh Chonk now? The chonkiest. Yes. Yeah. Hey, Sim, what's up, buddy? The End of Ruin. Oh, that sounds. Oh, God. Do I have to kill these things? Oh, I did. Oh, I gotta kill these things. What does that even mean, chat? Okay. Oh, jeez. Okay, we're gonna have to figure out something with this mana situation. Maybe some kind of regen or something? Okay. Cool. In the runes, even as the void draws closer, the 2 shards in your possession resonate with power. Last shard lies ahead. Taking it will reform the relic known as the Epoch. Delete the game. You won't. I dawu. Oh, okay. Entering the end of time. Angry Jenks, what's up, buddy? Oh. That in there.
You seem a little disoriented. First time here, traveler.
What is this place?
This is what is left of your timeline, and many others. Welcome to the end of time.
You playing Chrono Trigger?
When you rejoined the Epoch, the void plunged your timeline into darkness.
God
The
damn
Epoch
it.
saved you and brought you here, away from the void's grasp.
How do you know what happened in there?
Whenever a timeline is shattered, if its traveler had rejoined the Epoch, they are taken to this place. Most of them don't last much longer. Jumping around timelines is a dangerous hobby.
Alright, so it's Epoch.
If you want a better chance, you should find your friend, Gasper. He might be kind enough to show you how to tap into your true potential.
Ha!
Stay safe.
What brings you here?
Hmm. 1 second. Nana? Nana who? Nanny O business, that's who.
May Eterra guide your
What?
travels.
You asshole. Okay. Yeah, got him, dude.
Take care.
Damn. What the hell is that thing? Is that a little Dargon? Oh my god, it's adorable. It's like a flying gecko dragon thing. How do I get one of those? Where am I going? Oh, is that a black hole in the background? Jesus, dude. Hi?
You've woken up. That's good. I'm sure you have many questions.
How can you help me? It's a black hole sun. Won't you come?
I see you've spoken with the armor-clad woman. She may be flippant, but she intends well. Your potential is infinite. Infinite in strength, yet at risk of drowning in a sea of other selves. Countless alternate versions of you have come and gone, only to drift away into nothingness. Some of them were strong, and their power can be absorbed, given a new home in you.
So we're doing multiverse stuff. My favorite. How do I harness their power?
I have been here for a long time. Long enough for time to lose meaning. For my original self to lose meaning. I have absorbed the faded selves of too many other Gaspars to count. In the process,
Stay a while and
I've
listen.
become adept at guiding the shades that flow here. If you allow me, I will guide a measure of your other selves to you.
Oh, is this subclasses?
This will tie their lost fates to one which still holds hope. I warn you. Your will must be absolute, or you will risk losing yourself to the storm of shades. Do you accept this risk?
Maro says, I've seen some Escape from Tarkov streamers talking about this, but apparently since Streets of Tarkov is out, Battlestate is now focused on full release. I think the 2 words there are about time. That's good, but I have no idea if that's true or not. I mean, the game still has a... The game's still... Like, if they're actually going to release the game like their vision, they've still got a long way to go. I mean, they want, like, all the zones to connect and, like, all sorts of crazy stuff. I mean, they're basically talking about, like, changing the way the game plays. On top of that, they're currently dealing with a giant cheating issue. So, I think it's still going to be a while. I would not hold thy breath if you follow me.
Then close your eyes and focus on the potential you wish to wield as I guide the shades.
I think that what I've heard about Tarkov is, like, they're gonna get to a point where they have to release it, and they're gonna release it unfinished. And I think that is probably, at the rate they're developing the game, I think that's probably gonna happen more. I mean, it's already kind of soft release. I mean, let's be real. So, you know, we'll see. We'll see. All right. Fallen Knight who has taken part of the void inside themselves and uses it to devastate their foes, even at the cost of their own life. Forgeguard, a bulwark of strength and steel whose mastery of weapons, armor, and the animation of molten metal dominates the battlefield. Or Paladin, a righteous warrior focused on empowering and healing their allies who can take down swaths of enemies with holy fire. Boop. Okay.
I see that you are still you.
Embrace the void.
That strength will be necessary if our world, our reality, is to have any hope.
Yeah, that's a good point, Jetman. I mean, really, I think we have to just accept the fact that the word release doesn't mean what it used to mean. And I think you're right in saying the second you monetize your product, it's released. And I think you're right. The second you're taking money for your game, that is a release. There's early access releases and things like that. So, I mean, release to me used to be a very defined term, but these days I think you can more call it the 1.0. I think 1.0 is a better term. 1.0 indicates the finished version, what would have been put on a CD back in the day, kind of thing, or a DVD. But yes, I think we're more talking about the 1.0, not the release. Yeah. So, what about pre-orders? Yeah, that does put a little bit of a wrench in that, because I mean, the game is not released when it's taking pre-orders. I think pre-orders are pre-orders. I think pre-orders are pre-orders. You're pre-ordering for the release whenever you can play. So the release is still the release, but you're just pre-ordering for it. Yeah. But I guess you are monetizing it before it's out. And you wouldn't say that's a release. Look what you've done. Yeah, we'd have to kind of sit down and really think about it, but yeah. Tell me more.
I believe we have identified when the void began to sweep over the world and who is likely responsible.
Yeah, I
1005 in the Imperial era.
Last thing I'll say on it, I think all we would have to do is say you just have to add and playable. So when the game is monetized and playable, that is when it's released. You can monetize before a release, but when it's playable and monetized, that's a release. And in that vein, you could also argue that Dark and Darker is not released yet because it's not monetized. They're doing pre-alphas and stuff. You can't buy Dark and Darker. So that, yeah, okay. What constitutes playable? The ability to open it up on your computer and play the game. So I would absolutely say, and I think this is an interesting point, I would absolutely say that that's where the argument really starts getting weird with early access stuff. Because if a company is accepting money for an early access product and giving you an alpha or a beta, like, that is technically a soft release. It's not a release of the final thing. But you can, I mean, the same thing could be said for Star Citizen. The fact that you could buy into Star Citizen means that it released, even when it was a trashy set of half-finished stuff. I mean, they're still accepting money and you're getting something for it to play. So yeah, I mean, like, it's again, this is where the term doesn't mean what it used to. So like that's where this gets weird. Because the gameplay, the game dev world is so different from what it used to be. There's no more standard. So words don't mean what they used to. Same for alpha and beta. Alpha and beta used to have defined, this is what alpha and beta means. And these days they're almost marketing terms. So it's like, it's completely different. It's completely different. But yeah, anyway, enough. We'll talk about this more tonight. Will this be on the test? Yes.
Come and gone before you. The information gleaned from their adventures makes many things possible. Centuries before the world was ruined, it faced a different threat. The Immortal Empire.
Looking around, it looks like they maybe should have picked a different name.
They were once human, but their dark magic twisted them into a vile mockery of life. These undead fiends hunted the living at the whim of the Immortal Emperor.
Are you gonna play more Last Spell? Yeah, probably tonight. Or more of this. I don't know yet. But yeah, I probably play at least a little bit more, if not a lot more.
We believe that it was his greed for power that unleashed the void upon the world. Stopping him is our best chance at changing fate.
Oh, or is this entire game a butterfly effect thing?
The Epoch will guide your way. It knows the weavings of fate far better than any of us. Seek out the outcast queen, leader of the living rebels, and show her the Epoch. The rest will be up to you.
Plus 60. I've not heard of that. Can you give me some details? Great. Oh, there's a whole passive tree as well? Oh, man. Dan Velli. There used to be a sequence after you talked to Elder Gaspar here where you'd have to run through a section of fighting through endless waves of shade versions of your class to unlock the specialization. Be lucky it was removed. Oh yeah? Was it not very good? That's good to know. Okay, can I respec my tree? Is that a thing? Can I respec this? You can? Okay. I don't know if I want to, but I want to later. Oh. Seriously? 1 second. Bummer. Bummer, bummer, bummer. Okay. What am I reading? The stuff about Stalker 2. Yeah. It sucks. We'll see what happens. I'll have to follow it, of course. Thank you, Blitz. I appreciate it, bud. What happened with it? It looks like a group of hackers got got access to like the story and the cutscenes and a bunch of stuff, and they're threatening to release it if the company doesn't meet their demands, etc., etc. So, just a horribly shitty situation. Sucks. Not hackers, close community members. That is not what this says here. Let me double check this. Oh, that's not what it says here at all. I'll look into it more. How am I doing? I'm doing okay. How are you? Let's go this way. Oop. Imperial era. Just got the game from your store. Thank you for being amazing. Thank you, Allie. I really appreciate that, and thanks for the support. Thank you. Thank you.
I cannot do that.
Anyway, moving on. Anyone interested in Stalker 2 should look into it. There are political things going on. Yeah, of course. Yeah, and we would always recommend that people are, if you're interested in that kind of stuff, definitely go look for yourself and do your research and all that stuff, for sure. Here to see the Queen. Be careful. Okay. You can take passives from the other 2 subclasses as well.
Seek fluid intake.
Wait, what? Oh. Oh, God. Seriously? Up to a certain point. Up to here. Oh, my God, dude. Woo! This game is... this game is something.
Yes.
Head to the forge and imbue yourself with some shards. Thank me later. Shards. I'm here to stop the Immortal Empire. I'll help however I can. Okay.
Yes.
Where is the is this the
Yes.
forge? This is the shop. This isn't the forge. Where's the forge?
Be well.
This way.
May I help you?
Get to go sip on, chat. Drink your water. Hydrate, homies. Mm-hmm. Oh. Wait. Is that just... She was just talking about basic crafting. Not anything new. Okay. She was talking about some gem system or something. All right.
What do you want?
Good thing. She said we would help you. What I can do.
I cannot do that.
Gain entry to the Great College in Welrin. Okay. Does beer count? Hey, you do whatever you want to do, man. I'm not here to tell you how to live. You do you, boo. Mm-hmm. It's more for people who've never crafted, as well as to get them the quest you just picked up. Cool. Okay. Is there any monetization in the game? There is going to be an in-game store, but they have made it very clear that they're not planning on putting any pay-to-win stuff in the game. It's like part of their pledge kind of deal. Wow. 13 damage per second, huh? Okay. Oh, wait, was that one of those echo things? Oh, dude, I need to figure out my mana situation. This is not gonna work. Yeah, we gotta figure this out. I think I got some specializations.